Back in the studio after a few days away, and I tell you what a game to come back to. Manchester United facing City in the derby at Old Trafford on Sunday. United coming into the game off the back of 3 wins. The results have been there. The performances not quite as much. What I'm going to do in this video is run through my starting 11, all the tactical battles and the key battles from that game that I think Ten Hag will be lining up against Guardiola and the players, my predictions, everything in between. You can let me know what you think in the comments below and what your predictions are and your starting 11. Get in the comments, drop a like on the video, let's get into it. But yeah, the derby, United fans are nervous, all right? When was the last time you didn't go into a derby game nervous, even when you were playing well, let alone when you're not playing particularly well? But of course, last year at Old Trafford, Manchester United beat City 2-1. Rashford with the late winner, Garnacho with the cross. It was a game that was significant at the time, but you're looking at Manchester United now and you're looking at how we're playing, you're thinking, is this possible? Of course it's possible to win on Sunday. Ten Hag has been speaking about the performance levels. Look, we have got a way to go, and that's being polite. All right, last 3 wins we've got against Brentford, Sheffield United, and Copenhagen have required a 97th minute winner from McTominay, a 97th minute penalty save from Andrea Onana, and we just about beat Sheffield United 2-1 when Newcastle pumped them 8-0 the game before. In terms of the team news going into the game, Casemiro, he's not 100% fit. He may well start. I'm going to run through my starting 11. This is the team that we've played in the last game, and I'm going to run through my changes, and I think there has to be some changes. In terms of Man City, we know full well that Kevin De Bruyne is missing, which is, of course, a massive bonus, but you look at the quality of this City squad, and they're somehow coping completely without him. In terms of how they lined up in their last game, Akanji is going to be banned after getting that red card, but let's head to the tactics board now to run through and discuss Manchester United's team. Now, this was the team there that played in the last game against Copenhagen. And I think there has to be some changes. It's kind of it's a little bit of a cliche when speaking about football. You know, the midfield is where the game's going to be won or lost. But legitimately, the midfield is where the game is going to be won or lost in this game. But it's one player that's coming into this game now with a little bit of form. And my, how he has needed it, Andrea Onana. That penalty save against Copenhagen was significant for our season. We didn't win that game. Probably not going to qualify for the Champions League. Hey, we still might not, but we've now got a fighting chance to do that after that save. He's had a rough start to the season. Last time we played Pep Guardiola in a game, of course, was when Inter played Man City in the Champions League final, and Onana was fantastic. That's when he played out from the back with the ball. If you look at the average pass length of Onana this season, it's higher than any other season of his career. You look at his pass completion rate, it's the lowest in any season of his career. He's playing differently at United. And what we need to be able to do, and I fear for this, and I don't really think we're going to be able to, if I'm being completely honest, it's working against the press. All right, being press resistant against City is an important aspect. That's why Onana was brought in, but I don't think we will be. I think Maguire should be starting this game. I think Maguire deserves to start this game. Man of the match against Sheffield United and the goal against Copenhagen. But everything that I've said about Maguire, it still rings true. He's in form for sure, but when you play Harry Maguire against the top 6 sides that presses the ball intensely, that is probably going to be our back 5, and it's probably going to be our 2 centre-backs, is Varane and Maguire, given injuries and everything, and form. But I fear for Maguire in this game. You know, Man United have won 16 out of the last 17 that he's started. How many of those have been against top 6 sides? How many of those have been against teams that will press you intensely? That's where Maguire's weaknesses are exposed. And I think he's going to need a lot of protection. Now, in terms of probably the key battles of this game, is going to be down that right-hand side. Well, City's right-hand flank, Manchester United's left-hand flank. Rashford's going to really have to double up if I put him on start level, if he starts, which I think he will. That's going to be Kyle Walker down there, and it's going to probably be Phil Foden. Not quite sure. I mean, Grealish, I don't think has started a Premier League game since August for City. But Reguilon, he's going to have his absolute A game. Again, because he's playing Maguire there, there's probably going to be a little bit more space. And it actually, in my opinion, it raises the importance of this man in this game. Amrabat. I think Amrabat, but I'm a big fan of Amrabat. I really genuinely am. And I think in a game like this is where we are going to need him to really show us some proper quality. Because I think he's going to have to cover so much ground. Defensively, he's going to have to come in here and offer protection and screening to Varane and Maguire. Whenever City go down that right-hand flank, he's going to have to come over here. Not too much, of course, because he'd leave a huge gap in the middle. But that's where United are going to have to work as a unit. That's what being compact means. It means that if one player moves out, the others, the other players drop in to cover those spaces in behind. You stay compact. You make sure that the spaces between players are never ginormous and huge. But Amrabat in this game, I think, is going to be crucial. You talk about press-resistant players. There is somebody who genuinely is press-resistant. And City, spoiler alert, are going to press the ball. Are going to press United high up the pitch. If we cannot cope with it, and that's why, for me, this is a really, really important aspect of this game. It's not just about the players we're starting. It's about the players that we need to leave on the bench. And Casemiro and Eriksen are two of those players, in my opinion. All right? Because when it comes to this City game, we cannot play with a passive midfield. That's just, in my opinion, it's an absolute certainty that we cannot play with a passive midfield. And Casemiro is not 100% fit anyway. Even if he was 100% fit, I'm being truthful, I'll probably leave him on the bench for this game. Would I bring him on? Yeah, absolutely, I would bring him on. I think he will come on. I think Christian Eriksen, both of those players can come on and make a difference. But you're looking at the midfield there, that was humiliated away at City in the league last year. In the FA Cup, the game just bypassed them. It's too fast for them against City. The game is too fast. The game is too physical. And City are one of the best at it. And that is why, right, I'm speaking about those two players missing for the game. And I'm going to rewind to this because United against City at Old Trafford last season, there was one key tactical thing that Erik ten Hag did. And he put Fred on De Bruyne in the first half. And it really limited his ability to play make from deep. And it kind of nullified City's threat for quite a lot of it. Of course, it takes away a little bit from your own game going forward. But when you play a team that is good as City and you're United where we are right now, you have to not accept that, but you have to understand your current position. And that's why I genuinely think we need this man to start. Now, this might be seen as, I wouldn't say controversial, but one player who absolutely shouldn't be starting this game is Scott McTominay. He's operating as a supporting striker. There's too much space in midfield. And I think we need Hannibal's energy in there to do I don't think it's going to be a similar job to what Fred did with De Bruyne, but I want Hannibal in there so he can pester Rodri. Try and cut as much space from him as possible. And nobody else is going to offer the same energy levels and application off the ball out of possession that Hannibal will. That's why, for me, he is in that starting 11. And if you move on to the other midfielders, it's Bruno and Mount, right? Bruno's in my starting 11. That would be my midfield three. Amrabat, Hannibal, and Bruno. Whether or not you play Mason Mount on the right wing is a conversation I think we'll have next. But Bruno Fernandes, he is a transition player, right? When you play as fast as possible through the lines, that's where someone like Bruno is amazing. Which kind of goes in contrast with the style of midfield that the Ten Hag wanted or wants when it comes to controlling the game. And that's why it doesn't really work when you play Bruno and McTominay together, because both of them are really aggressive front foot players. Hannibal, I think, will be a little bit of a bridging the gap between Amrabat and Bruno. Amrabat will be there sweeping up defensively, really operating as a number 6 and making sure he doesn't leave that central area too often. And if he does, Hannibal's in there to drop deep and cover. Hannibal is in there to offer a bit more dynamism to United's midfield, trying to cut the space, trying to make sure that City can't just stand on the ball wherever they want. And Bruno, he's going to be the man looking for those final balls in behind for our attackers. And in attackers where, of course, we have different questions. Anthony, it's either Anthony or Mason Mount on that right wing. Who are you choosing? You let me know in the comments below. It strikes me that Erik ten Hag will go for what he trusts, really. And that's going to be something that causes controversy, maybe. A little bit of debate around whether Anthony should be trusted. But again, when it comes to off-the-ball work rate is going to be so crucial in this game, both for Anthony and for, I think he'll start in this game, Marcus Rashford on the wings. We cannot afford in this game against City for Anthony just to jog around up here, for Rashford to just jog around up here. Now, Rashford, if you look back at the Arsenal game, for example, was a game where Marcus Rashford really did track back well. Now, down that our left-hand side, Kyle Walker, he's going to be there with probably Phil Foden. On the left-hand side, it's going to be probably Guardiola and Jeremy Doku, who is absolutely dangerous. And Dalot's going to have a tough game up against them. But our wingers are going to have to properly operate as a modern winger. It's not just all about going forward and doing what you want to do in attack. It's about offering that balance and defending as a unit in a team. United are going to have to play as a proper unit in this game if we're going to get a result. And somebody, you know how I'm talking about Hannibal, who I think can drop onto Rodri. I think Højlund can cause a lot of those problems as well. Really making sure that he doesn't get too much space and time. Now, he can't run himself into the ground and take away all his energy because we need that going forward. But maybe Højlund, maybe Hannibal, I don't know. That would be my starting 11. All right? I'm worried about, if I'm looking at the weaknesses of this team, I'm going to have to look at Varane and Maguire under pressure when City press with the ball. I think that this part of the pitch there is where City are going to really do a lot of their pressure and pressing down that right-hand side with Walker, with Foden. I think that's going to be dangerous. I'm extremely worried about United actually having an element of control in midfield. We can't just let City, because if you give City the runners of the game, right, a bit like Wolves did against us in the first opening day of the season, they're going to turn us into mincemeat. It will not be a pretty game. And in terms of my prediction, I'll be honest, I ain't got no idea. I want to go for... City aren't exactly flying right now, but City are City. United aren't flying right now. We've got 3 wins in a row, but the performances haven't quite been there. Will it click on Sunday? Will it? It has to at some point, right? I don't know. I think I'm going to go for a score draw in this game. That will be my prediction. You can let me know what you think. I'll go for a 1-1. That might even be optimistic as far as you're concerned anyway. But you can let me know in the comments below what you think. It's the derby on Sunday. I'll be here with a match reaction. United got 3 wins in a row. Make it 4, and that would be a big, big statement. Come on, United. Turn up on Sunday and win, please. We did it last year.